Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm very happy indeed to be given the opportunity to share my views on Budget 2022. This $552.9 billion budget presented to this House by the Honorable Minister, Dr. Ashley Singh, on the 26th of January 2022, under the theme, Steadfast Against All Challenges, Resolute in Building One Guyana, is the largest budget in our country's history and will be partly financed by withdrawals from the National Resource Fund. It is touted to be a budget designed to create wealth and improve the livelihood of all Guyanese and to facilitate infrastructure development all across Guyana. Mr. Speaker, as I examined the presentation of the Honorable Minister, I found that there is hardly anything substantial for the ordinary Guyanese citizen to help improve their livelihood and to help create wealth for themselves. This budget is like the previous budget, Mr. Speaker. It's a private sector-oriented budget with little support for the private sector. Mr. Speaker, there is no dispute that the cost of living has been increasingly on a daily basis. Price of basic food items have increased tremendously. It is forecast that this steep increase will continue well into 2022. Mr. Speaker, in December 2021, chicken was $340 per pound. Now it is $440 and some places for $460. Price for fish has increased. Eggs were $800 per tray. Now it's $900 and sometimes $1,000. Plantain in Essequibo, please, Your Honor, is now $200 per pound, and in some places, quite higher. The price of fruits and vegetables have doubled. Things are expensive. People are finding it very difficult to survive. In an attempt to reduce the cost of living, the Honorable Minister proposed to have monthly monthly farmers market in different locations in Demerara and Berbice, where consumers will benefit from buying directly from the farmers. But how practical and how many persons will be able to benefit from this activity? How much relief will this bring to the consumers? Mr. Speaker, I'm no economist. But in my common sense tells me that this measure will not have the effect of reducing the cost of living and to have any effect on the lives of ordinary people. Mr. Speaker, reducing the excise tax on gasoline and diesel from 20% to 10% is another method proposed by the Honorable Minister to help reduce the cost of living. Mr. Speaker, this will surely reduce the price of fuel by approximately $65 per gallon. But will this reduction benefit the consumers in any significant way? Will the ordinary man pay less for transportation? Will the minibus operators reduce their fares for the school children? Will the cost of electricity be reduced? We all know the answer to these questions, please, Your Honor. This answer is a resounding no. These measures will not in any way significantly impact the reduction of cost of living to our people and in any way improve their lives. The Honorable Minister announced that this government have set aside the sum of $5 billion to mitigate the high cost of living in 2022. There is no clear indication, Mr. Speaker, as to what this sum will be used for. People are asking, will it be used to give loyal supporters of the PPP under the guise of flood relief and other similar grants? Or is it a slush fund to be used by the government at its convenience? Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Minister has indicated that this year, the monthly public assistance will be increased from $12,000 to $4,000, an increase of $2,000. Old age pension will be increased from $25,000 to $28,000, an increase of $3,000. A far cry from the $50,000 that was promised during this government's campaign. Uniform grant is increased from $4,000 to $5,000, an increase of $1,000. How, Mr. Speaker, could this meager increase improve the lives of our elderly and vulnerable? According to the Honorable Minister, it will provide additional disposable income for them. Income tax threshold has been increased from 65,000 to 75,000. These measures, according to the Minister again, will provide additional disposable income to the citizens. No doubt, Mr. Speaker, he's telling the truth. But what impact would this little and meager increase in the prices, in their salary would affect? The high prices for food, the citizens are left in a quandary since the money can't do to buy the things they need, Mr. Speaker. They may have a little more money in their pocket, yes, but with the increase in the price of goods, their ability to purchase will be greatly reduced. Mr. Speaker, there are at least 30 persons in the Esquibo who requires dialysis treatment. One of them called and expressed the gratitude of the $6,000 assistance from the government. 600,000, pardon. He told me that he had a discussion with the other patients, and they wanted me to raise this question in this house, please. And the question is, why did the government not invest in a facility that offered this dialysis service on the Essequibo coast? In their opinion, it will cost the government less. It will be more convenient for them and more economical because they will have to travel. They would normally travel to Georgetown twice weekly for treatment and incur expense in accommodation. Mr. Speaker, these persons are calling to the government to establish its own dialysis facility in the region, which will employ, of course, citizens. This is what the people want, Mr. Speaker. And we're asking the government to deliver. The money is there, Mr. Speaker, but it's channeled in the wrong direction. Mr. Speaker, the Guyanese workers are once more disappointed. We have listened attentively to the Honorable Minister, waiting to hear for an increase in the wages for public servants this year. It is acknowledged, Mr. Speaker, that cost of living has skyrocketed and cost of living is projected to increase in 2020. Yet, this government has not even considered an increase in the salary for the hardworking public servant to cushion the effects of the rise in cost of living. 552.9 billion is budgeted to be spent in this year, and this government has not considered anything towards the salary, increased salary of our hardworking public servants. Mr. Speaker, we have the money. Mr. Speaker, what is the excuse now? Why not give the public servants the increase that they deserve at this present moment? The university students, please, Mr. Speaker. Sorry. Mr. Speaker, this is the third budget presented by this government. Your university students and potential university students are still waiting for the promise made to them by this government that they will make education at the University of Guyana free again. Mr. Speaker, our university students are calling for relief too, and they are reasonable. They are calling for a reduction in the fees if the government cannot afford university education at this time, free education at this time. And what has happened to the manifesto promise that this government has made for the debt write-off for students with outstanding loans? This is also another promise. Will this also be another promise which would not be fulfilled by this government? Mr. Speaker, we have the money. Let us have university education free again. Mr. Speaker, in my 2021 budget speech, I had made a call on the government that in addition to cash grant, government should consider giving tablets to those vulnerable children, especially those living in the hinterland. I'm pleased to learn that the government will now be providing 11,000 tablets with flash drive loaded with teaching materials for those students. My hope, Mr. Speaker, is that those vulnerable students, especially those living in the hinterland, benefit from this exercise. Mr. Speaker, Tourism has and will continue to make significant contribution to our economy. We must not forget the tremendous effort by the APNE plus AFC coalition government to successfully market tourism, Guyana as a tourism destination. We must remember, in 2019, Guyana, under the APNE plus AFC coalition government, won 6 tourism awards, including the #1 Best Ecotourism Award. Guyana destination was well established. Destination Guyana was well established. Mr. Speaker, government must encourage and support development of regional tourism destinations in all our regions of our country. This will give our visitors an opportunity to visit other communities in our countries and have those communities benefiting directly from the spending of our visitors. Mr. Speaker, the protection of our consumers' rights is essential during these difficult and challenging times. Consumers must be protected from being sold defective and unwholesome goods. Government, through the Competition and Consumers Affairs Commission, must continue to ensure consumers' rights are protected by making them aware of their rights through seminars, radio and television programs. They should be established in each region a consumers affairs help desk where aggravated persons can be advised how to have the issues resolved. We must ensure that products of high quality are offered to our consumers. The Guyana National Bureau of Standards must continue to work towards this end. I was pleased to learn of the enforcement of the 31 compulsory national electrical standards approved by the APNE plus AFC government, where inspectors from the Guyana National Bureau of Standards removed electrical products from substandard electrical products from certain supermarkets. Mr. Speaker, more is needed to be done. Much more of these operations need to be carried out in other parts of our country. Government must provide more resources so that similar exercise can be carried out in all our regions on a regular basis. We must safeguard our consumer from substandard products. Mr. Speaker, it would be remiss of me not to raise some issues facing the citizens of Region 2. The residents living between Queenstown and Supernam are complaining bitterly about the quality of water supplied by the Guyana Water Incorporated. The water is untreated and has a high iron content. These residents want to enjoy the supply of treated water as available in other parts of the coast, but sadly, this has not been addressed in Budget 2022. Mr. Speaker, our main road has started to deteriorate and cracks and holes are starting to appear. Mr. Speaker, a stitch in time saves 9, and we are calling on the government to effect remedial work immediately before the road gets worse. These are the little things, Mr. Speaker, we on the Essequibo Coast expect to be addressed in Budget 2022. It seems, Mr. Speaker, that this government has taken us back to our Cinderella status. Mr. Speaker, I cannot conclude without saying something about our rice industry. Rice, as we all know, is the backbone of Region 2. Many farmers suffered tremendously from the excessive heavy rainfall and resulting flooding in 2021. They were grateful for the flood relief received by only some of those farmers. Mr. Speaker, there are great dissatisfaction among those who have generally suffered from the effects of the flood, and to date, for some reason or the other, have not received any relief. It is rumored, Mr. Speaker, that several persons received relief far exceeding their loss, and some received substantial amount without suffering any loss at all. The farmers are disgruntled. Mr. Speaker, all is not well in the rice industry in Essequibo. The cost of insecticide, weedicide, fertilizer, and labor have increased. Fertilizer now range between $9,000 and $10,000 per bag. The farmers of Region 2 are renewing their call for government to fulfill the promise made to them to reduce the cost of fertilizers and other chemicals used in this industry. Mr. Speaker, this budget is indeed the largest presented in our country's history to date. But this budget has failed to bridge the gap between the poor and the rich. Our people deserve better. This budget may have this budget may have a plan for vast infrastructural development, but sadly, it lacks the capacity to create wealth and improve the life of ordinary people. Thank you very much.